All right, let's dive in. Today, we're cracking open the investment analysis of InfoEdge, a company that is, without a doubt, a giant in India's internet economy. We're going to look at how they built this incredible digital fortress and, more importantly, figure out what that means for its future. So let's get right into it.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll set the scene with the big picture, India's massive digital boom. Then, we'll zoom right into InfoEdge's empire and its financials. After that, we'll see how they're planning for the future, and finally, we'll tackle the big one. Is the stock worth the price?
Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the world InfoEdge lives in. See, this company didn't just stumble into success. It strategically built its fortress right on the bedrock of a huge economic shift, what we're calling India's digital gold rush. This is the massive tailwind that's pushing this whole story forward.
And what's fueling this gold rush? Well, you've got this perfect storm of factors. You have more and more jobs becoming official or formalized. You have companies ditching old-school hiring for online platforms. The gig economy is exploding, and there's this insatiable demand for tech talent. It's a boom happening on multiple fronts, and InfoEdge is sitting right in the eye of that storm.
So you have this massive opportunity, but how did InfoEdge actually seize it? That brings us to Section 2, the Kingdom of Clicks. This is where we see exactly how they put together their incredible digital empire, piece by powerful piece.
And honestly, this one number kind of says it all. Over 70% market share. Just think about that for a second. Their main platform, Naukri.com, isn't just a market leader. It is the undisputed king of online hiring in India. This is the crown jewel of their entire kingdom.
But you know, a good kingdom has more than just one castle. While recruitment brings in the lion's share of the money at 60%, they've also got huge businesses in real estate with 99acres.com and in the matrimony space with Jeevansathi.com. It's a really smart, diversified portfolio of digital assets.
So, how do they protect this incredible kingdom? Well, they use something called a competitive moat, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a deep, wide ditch around their business castle that keeps competitors out. For InfoEdge, these moats are their secret weapon.
And here are their 5 main moats. The biggest one by far is the network effect. It's simple. More job seekers on Naukri attract more companies, and all those companies attract even more job seekers. It's this beautiful, self-reinforcing cycle. You add to that a brand that everyone in India knows, a treasure trove of data, and the fact that it's a huge pain for big clients to leave. And yeah, you've got a fortress that's almost impossible to breach.
Now, a great business model sounds fantastic, but do the numbers actually back it up? That brings us to Section 3, the Fortress Balance Sheet. Let's pop the hood and take a look at the financial engine of this company.
And whoa, this first number is just staggering. Over 4,500 crore rupees in cash and investments, with practically zero debt. This isn't just a healthy bank account, it's a war chest. It gives them this incredible freedom to invest, to buy other companies, and to sail through any economic downturn without breaking a sweat.
And that mountain of cash wasn't an accident. It was built on a foundation of really consistent growth. I mean, just look at this chart. A steady, methodical climb in net profit over the last 5 years. This isn't some flash-in-the-pan success. It's a story of durable, compounding strength.
Of course, no company is perfect. On the one hand, you have this debt-free, cash-gushing machine with awesome margins, but on the flip side, most of that cash comes from the recruitment business, which can be cyclical. You know, it does well when the economy is booming and slows down when it's not. So the real trick is balancing these amazing strengths against those built-in risks.
Okay, so you have a dominant business today and a mountain of cash. The big question is, where do you go from here? And that leads us to Section 4, betting on the future. Let's see how they're planting the seeds for the next decade of growth.
Their strategy is a classic but effective 3-part playbook. First, they're doubling down on their core platforms, making them smarter with things like AI. Second, they're expanding their territory, pushing it to new areas like blue-collar jobs. And third, they're using that huge war chest to invest in the next big things.
And we're not talking about small bets here. They made foundational investments in some of India's biggest startup stories. Companies like Zomato and Policy Bazaar that have become household names themselves. This really shows that InfoEdge isn't just running websites. They're a major force shaping the entire Indian tech scene.
All of this, the moats, the cash, the future bets, it all leads us to the final and most critical question in Section 5, the price of dominance.
We've pretty clearly established that this is a fantastic, high-quality company. But what should you actually pay for it? The financial analysis lays out a few scenarios. The base case, which is kind of the most likely estimate, pegs the value at 6,800 rupees per share. But it also gives us a pessimistic bear case and a super optimistic bull case. This gives you a really good feel for the full range of possibilities.
And this scorecard really tells the entire story in one glance. Look at those incredible scores for their competitive position, a 9.2, and management quality. But then your eyes drift down to valuation, just a 6.5. This is the core dilemma right here. It's an A-plus company, for sure, but you're not getting it on sale.
When you put it all together, weighting each category, the final score comes out to an 8.2 out of 10. In this rating system, that lands squarely in the proficient category, which is a really strong endorsement. So it's the bottom line. Despite that high price tag, the final recommendation from the analysis is a buy, with a target price of 6,800 rupees, lining up perfectly with that base case valuation we saw. Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. The evidence is pretty clear that InfoEdge has built a true digital fortress, with deep moats and a powerful financial engine. But the ultimate question for any investor is this: is any fortress, no matter how strong, worth paying a premium to get inside? That is the trade-off at the very heart of this investment.